Are you all having a good time in India? What have you got time to do? Looked around?
Last week was quite something.
A lot to do.
And so I think we've only just gotten time to get out and explore. I've been in a tuk-tuk, which was very exciting. so yeah, there's plenty that I want to see and do, but from this week onwards, I think we'll have a little bit more headspace to do so.
Isn't it a little hot for your tuk-tuk ride?
I love it.
So you like it?
No wind in my hair, and it helped take the heat out a little bit.
Yeah, the show that you all put together, this is considered like gold standard of acting. Even I was here when actors, film Bollywood actors were watching it. Even they came and told me later that this is something else. How does one maintain these high standards of acting?
I think what it comes down to is the original direction by Hal Prince. That's the gold standard.
Okay.
What he gave the show in terms of a storytelling and a style is what is still happening 37 years later, and that's no coincidence.
What makes this so timeless? Like, throughout people can watch it.
I mean, I mean, as we like to say, it's a feast for the eyes and ears. That's like, we love to say that. It's a musical. It's got everything. I mean, it's such an epic. They don't make musicals like this anymore. I mean, the music first and foremost, the costumes, the story is epic. It's got a bit of everything, romance and a little bit of horror. It's scary. It's so romantic and sexy at times. And it still holds up. But that's why people keep coming.
Could you give us an idea how many people travel with you all? In all, how many would it be?
Oh, goodness.
The whole troupe,
That's
everyone.
really
It's like
good.
120 total,
Somewhere around
with a mix. I think we travel with 80. Depends based on the city that we're in. We sometimes have more local crew. We sometimes have more of the international crew. So it kind of varies, but it's an enormous show. It really does take about 120 to put it together.
What do you have to say about NMACC? What did you observe?
But that first day when we walked on stage and we just saw the auditorium lit up and the colors and LEDs in the ceiling and just how plush it was. It was quite spectacular. On opening night, they put the mask above the stage and the lights. I mean, we didn't see that. I saw pictures later.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in a theatre before. So all those little things add up. This is a very special place.
Hi, I'm Matt Lisey, and I play Rao.
Hi, I'm Grace Roberts, and I play Christine.
I'm Jonathan Rocksmith and I play the Phantom.
Thank you so much, and welcome to India, and thank you for giving me time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I attended the premiere show and I was completely taken aback, mesmerized. This is one of the best shows I've attended in my life. So I am so happy. So firstly, I want to tell you all that, well done to all you guys. Please convey our regards to everyone behind the scenes, the orchestra, everyone who puts this together. Please tell them well done from our side.
Oh, certainly will do.
Right. So, first question is very simple. Are you all having a good time in India? What have you got time to do? Looked around?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. A show of this size, there are certain rehearsals that have to happen once we get to a new place.
Yeah.
And then there are some press engagements that we do. That's quite a glamorous life. So certainly from my side, it meant that I haven't been able to do that much.
Okay.
But I have been to as many markets as I can possibly go to. It's my favorite thing.
Nice, well done. What have you been up to?
I mean, I'm in the same boat as Jonathan in the sense that last week was quite something.
A lot to do.
And so I think we've only just gotten time to get out and explore this week, really. But I'm going to see the Gateway to India. I'm planning to do afternoon tea at the Taj Hotel.
Nice.
Hoping to see some of, the local nightlife at some point.
Yeah.
I've been in a tuk-tuk, which was very exciting. so yeah, there's plenty that I want to see and do, but from this week onwards, I think we'll have a little bit more headspace to do so.
Isn't it a little hot for your tuk-tuk ride?
I love it.
So you like it?
No wind in my hair, and it helped take the heat out a little bit.
Matt, what have you been up to?
Same thing. I haven't had too much time to explore, but I did manage to go see a lot of the old buildings. I love architecture, so getting to see like Victoria Terminus and then the Taj Hotel and all the other buildings in between, kind of walk around there. Had an amazing lunch at the Taj Hotel Palace. And I'm looking forward to like the Elephanta Caves. And I haven't been to the markets yet, so I want to get some Indian clothes before I head back.
Nice. The show that you all put together, this is considered like gold standard of acting. It is the best. Even I was here when actors, film Bollywood actors were watching it. Even they came and told me later that this is something else. How does one maintain these high standards of acting? What would you give credit to?
I think what it comes down to is the original direction by Hal Prince. That's the gold standard.
Okay.
What he gave the show in terms of a storytelling and a style is what is still happening 37 years later. And that's no coincidence.
Absolutely.
And when you've got a score by Andrew Lloyd Webber and, you know, staging by Harold Prince and choreography by Gillian, you know, the show is created by titans.
Yeah.
How can we not look good?
Yeah.
You know, it almost doesn't need us in a funny way.
Not at all. Yeah. What would you give credit to? This is completely the best thing people say they've seen.
I mean, I think it helps a lot that we have so much help behind the scenes, in the sense that we have people doing a lot of the hard work for us with, you know, costume changes and lighting and sound that brings the show to life. And I think that lets us inhabit these characters with so much more ease. And I think it also helps that we're working with such talented people.
Yeah.
You know, we keep it fresh every night as much as we can. You know, slightly different things in different scenes will give it a different energy. So I think it's a combination of things as well. Yeah.
Right. Matt, you know, what makes this so timeless? Like, you know, throughout people can watch it.
I mean, I mean, as we like to say, it's a feast for the eyes and ears. That's like, we love to say that. It's a musical. It's got everything. I mean, it's such an epic. They don't make musicals like this anymore. I mean, the music first and foremost, the costumes, the story is epic. It's got a bit of everything, romance and a little bit of horror. It's scary. It's so romantic and sexy at times. And it still holds up. That's why people keep coming.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've been playing Phantom for 13 years.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Somewhere around there. You know, what keeps you going? What keeps the same energy for everyone is the first time they're watching you, right?
You know, I think for that very reason, when you are able to be part of a premiere, and if you're able to bring the show or be part of the show when it goes to a country for the first time, it means all three of us and the entire company for that matter have the opportunity to be somebody's first Phantom, Christine, Raoul. That's very rare, because often in our profession we take over from other people in long-running shows. It's been done, it's in the same place, everybody knows how it ends, and on you go. Whereas here, I almost feel like this is probably what the originals felt like. You know, when the boat went around the corner the other night, we got a bit of applause. And the Masquerade Staircase was revealed, we got some applause. It's amazing that it still has that effect on people who've never seen it before. And I think there's a freedom in not being compared to previous versions, because you are now the first version.
Yeah, you're there first.
And the more you get to do that, the more addictive it becomes.
Right. You know, I can see everyone loves you, we can see, and including the audience. We can see why. Do you ever, before going on stage, get the jitters, get nervous? How do you manage that?
I get less nervous than I used to, that's for sure. I think my level of nervousness will depend on, you know, how prepared I feel and how I'm feeling in my body that particular week. And you know, luckily I try to maneuver around that by preparing as much as possible and warming up. But I think, honestly, not so much anymore. I definitely had it on the first night in India because I was so conscious that it was the premiere and, you know, people had never seen it before and we wanted to bring this magic to the Indian audiences as much as we could. But honestly, nowhere near as much as I used to. Okay. It's quite a rarity these days. Yeah.
That is amazing. You know, when you come to, say, India and you go to new countries, is there anything you change? Is there personally, you know, to the story, anything that you all change to cater to the audience?
No, it's always the same. The one thing we do tweak, I was going to say, there's a cheeky little line that Lefebvre, one of the actors in the show, in the Hannibal scene, he does say, like, oh, if you need me, I'll be in insert, like the sort of like the resort town in the country where we are. So right now it's Goa. So if you need me, I'll be in Goa.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's all the same. It's and the crazy thing, it's so universally loved that like we don't have to change anything. Yeah. There was a moment during COVID where like, are we going to kiss? Because we were masked up and we continued. We didn't change a thing. Like during the pandemic, we managed to keep doing the exact same thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know, your expressions are such a big part of acting on stage in front of a live audience. Your face is covered. You know, there's so much you have to do with your body and your personality, your aura. How challenging is that?
It's challenging in a very good way.
Yeah,
because you start relying on other things, and that's why I think when you've got such a beautifully written score, the expression that the Phantom can convey because of the way it's written. You don't have to see him to know what he's feeling. It's very clear, and the way it's orchestrated as well makes it very, very poignant in places.
Right.
But for me, the best challenge about this role are your hands. That's actually how you can show, because it's all black, and a little bit of white, and then your hands.
Yeah.
And that becomes a connection with the audience, even when I'm in a costume that is literally the only thing sticking out of my hands in the Don Juan cloak. So it keeps you fresh in terms of being clear with the story and what your character wants, which is always, I suppose, the basis of any acting.
Wow. Could you give us an idea how many people travel with you all? In all, how many would it be?
Oh, goodness.
The whole troop,
That's a
everyone?
really
It's like
good
120 total
Somewhere around
with a mix. I think we travel with 80, something like that.
That's okay.
But I think it depends based on the city that we're in. We sometimes have more local crew. We sometimes have more of the international crew. So it kind of varies, but it's an enormous show. It really does take about 120 to put it together.
Wow. And could you explain to the audience what goes behind the scenes, what we are not watching? What we're watching, we are seeing. What all is happening? How much chaos is there?
Well, each new venue, it creates its own chaos because we're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get to the stage from the dressing room, and then what's going to be our new, because every theater we have different traffic backstage. There is quite a show backstage that one does not see, and then here it's a little tighter than what we're used to. So we have to let someone go by, and the costumes are enormous. So so there is a lot of okay, I take priority right now. We're like, oh, this person needs to move this dead body in front of. I'm always caught behind the dead Pianji. I'm like, okay, you go first, and then now I get to go. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of traffic jams and learning to figure out, who gets preference, who needs to get on stage first, and it's a little wild. There's people getting their wigs put on during the show and getting quick changes, and people just kind of waiting for their next entrance. It's crazy.
Right. Could you tell, I want to ask you, when you all first came here, you saw the venue. We are very happy with this venue. We have this, so we have some great musicals coming. What do you have to say about NMACC? What did you observe?
I mean, when they announced Mumbai, a number of other friends of mine in other shows who've performed here let me know that it was the best theatre that they've ever performed in. And you sort of think, oh, well, people tend to exaggerate sometimes, especially in our business.
Right.
But that first day when we walked on stage and we just saw the auditorium lit up and the colors and LEDs in the ceiling and just how plush it was. It was quite spectacular. On opening night, they put the mask above the stage and the lights. I mean, we didn't see that. I saw pictures later.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in a theatre before. So all those little things add up. But I think we've said this a few times. There's just a spirit in the building. Yeah. That this is a very special place. Yeah. And amazing things are happening here, and that we're one of them is just wonderful. Right.
It's made with great intentions. You can see that. What did you all observe about this theater?
Backstage is because I feel like a lot of times the treatment is about what the audience sees, but but for all the backstage stuff to be so beautifully maintained and I mean, this is what it looks like for us in our dressing rooms. And we have a green room where they have tea and snacks for us. So this is lovely. It's a lot of attention to detail. It's
nice.
It's lovely.
Spoiling you.
Yes. We feel so welcomed here. We're always looked after. People are checking that we're happy and fed and well kept and all that. And I think it's as opulent backstage as it is on stage, and it's just a wonderful place to be for us.
Right, great to hear that. Personally, what's challenging? How long are you away from family? All of you, each one of you.
As long as the show runs. That's essentially it. And we just finished. I mean, the last country we were in, it was 8 months that we were away. So it varies from 8 months to 1 month. Wow. But it takes such a long time for the show to move. You can't just do 1 week in a country. Yeah. If you're going to bring Phantom, have it for a while. That's kind of the thinking. Yeah. But thankfully, we are in an age of planes, trains, and automobiles, as well as FaceTime,
video
and Skype,
calls,
and all that.
right.
Skype. Who am I? Zoom. It's part of the job.
Right. Is that one of the most challenging things, to stay away from family for you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the hard things.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit more used to being away from my family because they're in Singapore and I'm in the UK. But I think it's challenging to do something so challenging without your support system around you as you're used to it. But I think as time goes on, you do get used to it and you find, the wonder of where you are, and you take advantage of the local culture and customs, and you kind of just have a whole new adventure that you can then feed back to your family. So I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Right. Could you also explain to me how many actors play one character at times?
Yeah, I feel like we have, at least for the principal roles, we have 2 understudies. 2, okay. So there's kind of 3 people, I guess, for each role. And then I guess with the swings, it gets a little more complicated.
6 tracks or something.
But there's plenty of many options of of which cast you could see based on who's feeling healthy and who's not injured and is injured.
Right.
Yeah.
If y'all had one advice for budding actors who want to join theatre and do something like y'all are doing, what would be your one advice to them?
I don't want this to sound like a downer at all. This is meant with all the love in the world.
Okay.
Don't make this the only thing you have.
Okay.
I think if your job as an actor is to recreate human behavior, learn how to be like a human being first.
That's most important. Yeah.
You know, human behavior is the hardest thing to replicate, despite the fact that we do it every day.
Right.
And I think some people are often too in service of the theatre.
Right.
And the theatre thrives when people are in collaboration and are keyed into each other.
Right.
It's a people's business. Emphasis on people.
That's really important. Right. What would you like to tell them?
I think that's a really good point. It's like having a lot of other things around you outside of the world of theatre. But I think also, it sounds cheesy, but for me, it is a case of stand true in what you have to offer, because no one can do the same thing that you can do exactly. And so don't give up, because I mean, my journey to Christine did not happen straight away.
Okay.
So I auditioned several times before I got the role. And I think if I'd have given up the last time, I wouldn't have got it. So I think there is something to be said to believing you can do it and just proving yourself until they finally listen, if you get me. So I think, yeah, don't give up on what you have to offer.
That's so true. Well done. Yeah. What did
I was that's exactly. I mean, I feel like I've had a similar thing, not necessarily with this show, but with others, where it's like you try to like fit into what you think they want from you, and like this is how I'll get the job. And it's like you get the job when you bring yourself to it. I find most of the time it's like they have people behind the table, the directors and choreographers and music directors. They want to see something new or fresh, and so like I feel like the best thing we can do is bring as much of ourselves to the work, and then I would just say my little piece of advice is just like keep doing what, like, because you love it. Like remember like why you were interested in it to begin with, because there's a lot of not lovely things that come along with the business side of it. So it's like as long as you keep the love of the acting and the singing, whatever, then I think you'll be kind of set. But yeah, don't lose the love.
Don't lose the love. Very important. Lastly, you know, if people are yet to come, people are still to come for this show, what would you like to tell them, that one thing that the audience should always remember when they're coming for Phantom?
The theatre, by its very nature, is live. We're used to sitting on our phones the whole day and also going to the movies or watching TV at home, where you're just doing that, and it's all about coming at you. The theatre is about participating in what you're experiencing as well, in terms of your energy. If you're going to do that, make sure you go and see a good show. This is not a good show. This is an incredible show. And especially if this is your first time coming to the theatre, a brand new venue like this, it's only 2 years old, with a 37-year-old show that people are discovering as if it's new for the first time. There is no other experience like this.
That's true. Absolutely.
Across the board, not just in theatre, just in general. As you were mentioning earlier, there's an orchestra right in front of you. There are people right there. And what I love so much about the show is it's almost like a tightrope walk every time. You have one shot to get it right per show. It could go wrong at any minute. And the audience is in on that with you all the way through, and that adrenaline keeps you going. So by the time that curtain comes down at the end of the show, there's this at the end of it. Good luck finding that on TV.
No, well done, guys. Like, you know, I watched it and I can't tell you, everything that y'all are saying makes so much sense. So best of luck for the rest of the shows, and wherever y'all travel in the world. We are all so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
It was lovely.